Jai Guruji, Jai Sangatji. Today I will be reading Satsangs of retired Colonel Joshi. You are my Lord, Father and Mother. It was a warm Saturday evening of May 2002 and the atmosphere was buzzing with excitement. We were going on an excursion with Guruji to Ramgarh, a place around 21 kilometers from the hill station of Nainital, where a devotee had a resort. Everything was in readiness. Luggage had been packed. Two buses and a few cars were stationed outside the Empire State Gate. On Guruji's signal, the Sangat got inside the buses, with Guruji himself getting into one of them. There was a brief scramble as devotees tried to get into the bus Guruji was traveling in. Then the buses rolled and the trip was on. We were at Ramgarh at about 2 p.m. the following day. After washing up and having lunch, we sat down in the resort's garden, waiting for Guruji to come out. Waiting with us were devotees from the surrounding areas who had come to know of Guruji's presence. In Nainital, couple blessed with child. One of the devotees who had come from Nainital was about to bow in front of Guruji when he said, "You have 3 wives and you want a child." The devotee, Nasar, was stunned that the Sadguru knew his personal details. He had been married for 15 years, but none of his wives had been able to conceive. Nasar continued coming to Guruji's darshan every day, along with his wife. After a few days, Nasar came alone, prompting Guruji to ask him where his wife was. Guruji was told that she was unwell, with stomach pain and headaches. Guruji rubbished this interpretation, telling Nasar that there was nothing wrong with her and that she had conceived. His words came true as 2 months after the excursion, Nasar sent a message around the time of Guruji's birthday, which falls on 7th July, that doctors had confirmed his wife's pregnancy. 15 years of infertility had been dismissed at the Mahapurusha's very first darshan. In February 2003, Nasar was blessed with a boy and came on Shivratri to thank Guruji and seek a name for his son. Guruji named the boy Murad, signifying the fulfillment of a wish. Train journey provides a ticket to health. I was commanding one of the elite commando unit of the National Security Guards NSG at Manesar, around 40 kilometers from Delhi. Guruji was in Chandigarh in December of 1996 and I got his message to come to Chandigarh for 2-3 days. I took casual leave and left. At that time, I was suffering from spondylitis and used to have severe pain on the entire right arm, with my right thumb often getting numb. I reached Chandigarh and stayed there for 2 days with Guruji. Deciding to return by bus to Delhi on Sunday after taking Guruji's permission, the nod was given, but I was told to go by train. I was apprehensive of train travel, that too without reservation and during winter, as it compounded by my problem. In an unreserved cabin, the cold could be biting. An officer dropped me at the Chandigarh railway station and I managed to get a middle berth in a 3-tier sleeper compartment. I boarded the train at 2:30 at night and fell asleep immediately. I got up when the train reached New Delhi at a chilly 7:30 in the morning. I had been expecting to endure agonizing pain, but there was none. It has been more than a decade since that day, and my spondylitis and its pain has never reappeared. It is worth nothing that I never mentioned this problem to Guruji, nor did he ever say anything to me. I had merely obeyed the Sadguru's word or hukum, which signifies the divine will, and the problem had gone away. The Sadguru's divine will, so often benign, can also make a mockery of modern scientific notions of healing. I had been diagnosed with diabetes in 1995, and my sugar level and blood pressure were shooting up to high level. This was an area of professional concern for me, for the army demanded high level of fitness. I approached Guruji with the problem, and Guruji blessed a copper tumbler from which I drank water daily. I was also directed to get tests done afresh after a week. During this week, I had my fill of prasad, which was a usual lots of sweets, poison for diabetics. Yet a week later, the tests were astonishing. Every parameter used to check the blood was within the normal limit, and my blood pressure was healthy as a young man's. Thus, even after eating the huge amount of sweet prasad, sugar levels were kept at an absolutely normal level. This is because the langar and prasad given at Guruji's contain amrit, which cure and relieves every ailment. One day, one only needs to accept consume it with faith or shraddha. It is only when the disciple surrenders and hands himself over to the Sadguru then, and only then, does he experience the effect of divinity on his life. There are many ways in which Guruji showers his blessings upon devotees. Often, when Guruji orders may appear weird, but the secret of making the best of it is to accept and act as directed. That is what surrender is. When it rained mercy on my army unit, while I was a group commander of the NSG during 1995 to 1998, the Director General was to inspect the unit. The soldiers worked very hard to get the unit spike and span. The unit road was swept clean of dust, and even the leaves of the surrounding trees were brushed up. The tree trunks and the brick lining bordering the approach road to the unit got a paint of Geru terracotta. The entire unit was ready for inspection and hoping to get a shabash, well done, from the Director General. On D-Day, I was driving up from Delhi to Manesar at 7 in the morning. It started raining. Then it turned torrential. By the time I neared Manesar, I could not help but be dejected. All the labor the unit boys had put in would get washed away. I prayed Guruji that this not happen. I was amazed as I entered the unit gate. The unit grounds showed no sign of rain. The staff told me that it was raining everywhere but not on the unit. As for the inspection, it exceeded expectation. The Director General said the unit was an example for other units. But as soon as DG left, it started raining in my unit as well. The divine hand was evident. A devotee's sincere prayer had been enough to bring forth Guruji's grace. I felt as if a divine protective umbrella had been placed over the unit while it rained hard everywhere else. In the evening, when I went to Empire State, Guruji remarked on the event, testifying that it was he who had kept the rain from spoiling the show. Guruji takes care of me and my family in every way, as this incident shows. I have no words to thank the one who is above all. Weight gain through faith. My wife used to be a little thin and try as she might, she could not put on weight. In fact, she had not gained weight even when she was with child. Guruji, however, used to repeatedly tell her that he had increased her weight by 5 to 10 kilos. The family could not notice any change in her weight initially, but after some time, she started getting a wholesome roundedness to her figure, so much so that her youngest son started calling her Moto or Fatso. Even in the brief working of Guruji's will, it was evident that Guruji has his own ways, methods, and time frames to regulate the life cycle of an individual. As human beings, our vision is myopic. We worry about the near future and about small worldly things. The omniscient Guruji looked beyond the shadow of the past, the narrow present, and the unimaginable future. When he grants us something, it is within the context of a cosmic and not merely an individual perspective. That is why one should develop an attitude of unquestioning surrender towards him. He should put him in the place of his father, mother, beloved, and friend, and with the distilled essence of his love, throw himself at the Sadguru's feet. It is of paramount importance that the disciple does all the tasks the Sadguru assigned to him. The results of the deeds, however, should be left to Sadguru. For the Sadguru, the only truly illumined person alone knows what is best for the disciple, and his compassion knows no bounds, extending equally to the disciple as to their near dear ones. I feel Guruji is like Lord Shiva, who drank up the poison that came out when the ocean was being churned for its treasures by the gods and demons. Guruji also drains the poison from his disciples' lives. Not even those you most dearly love and cherish can take your pain, even if they wish to relieve you of suffering. Your father, mother, friends, relatives, children, none of them can do so. The Sadguru can even bestow life on you, and only he can be truly yours. A stanza from Ramcharitmanas puts it aptly. मोरे प्रभु तुम गुरु पिता माता जौन कहाँ जाऊँ कहाँ ताजी तब पट जल जाता. My Lord, you are my Guru, Father and Mother. Where else can I find solace but at your feet? My niece is cured of depression. My niece Bhavna, who lives in Jaipur, was in very bad shape. She had been admitted to a local hospital and was in the DI list. My sister called me up while I was driving to Guruji's at Empire State. She was in tears, but I had no opportunity to tell Guruji of the problem. After most devotees had left, Guruji sat down in the hall and began saying that he was not feeling well. I felt that since Guruji was unwell, he should not be told anything. But I was surprised when he started describing Bhavna's symptoms to me. He told me to get a particular medicine from the All India Institute of Medicine, New Delhi. It was 1 o'clock at night, and I returned in an hour with the medicine in hand. Guruji told me to throw these in the dustbin and asked me to take my wife to Jaipur for a day and return. In the morning, I rang up my sister and learned about Bhavna was a little better and would be discharged by evening. Though her problems had disappeared, Bhavna was still depressed. The next day, my wife left for Jaipur. As soon as she met Bhavna, Bhavna became cheerful and got over her depression. The change was there for all to see. Subsequently, my entire circle of close family members and relatives felt Guruji's blessing on their lives. Guruji is a Mahapurush, a divine being. When I would take a walk along with Guruji, the Mahapurush's divine body would exude a rosy fragrance from the sole of his shoes. If you sat in the Sangat hall with him and surrendered yourself to him, your body would start exuding this fragrance. Such is the effect of his aura. So great is the gap between mortals and their immortal Guru. The Sadguru is, as these experiences show, omniscient. His presence is felt at a number of places at any instant of time. He repeats the conversations which a husband has with his wife when the couple is miles away from his physical presence. One finds that the sacred literature of this country is but a brief commentary on his oceanic being. As a stanza from the Ramcharitmanas says, Binu Pag, Chalahi Sune Binu Kana, Kar Binu Karam, Kare Vidinana. Walks without legs, hears without ears, works without hands, the Lord does all. Satsang of Colonel S.K. Joshi, Senior Executive with Reliance Infocom. Jai Guruji, Jai Sangh Ji.